So let's take a minute or two and talk about why we cannot try to solve a problem while thinking about the problem. And I know this is a huge challenge or something that most of us try to do because we do have this belief that we need to think about something in order to solve it. And it's kind of logical as well, isn't it? But the thing is, when we think about a problem, what does that do to our heads, to our mood? We get in a shitty mood, let's be honest. Thinking about a problem or something that we are unhappy with cannot keep us in a good mood. It's impossible. And the reason for that is that a feeling or an emotion always stems from thoughts we've been having. It's reactions to the thoughts we're having. So if we feel good, it means we have been thinking about something that feels good. And if we feel bad, we've been thinking about things we don't like, we don't want, etc. So of course, if we try to find a solution to a problem when thinking about the problem, thus feeling bad, it will be quite difficult to find a solution for that, right? Because when have you ever had this, wow, this is the answer to what I need when you feel like shit? Sometimes we can, but that's not the norm. That's more like if you're so far down, there is no way to go even further down, and you understand that the only way to go is up and you need to do something about it, then maybe. But in everyday life, how often do you get the solutions and the answers you need when you feel like shit? At least for me, not very often. And this weekend I was at my beautiful cabin in Norway among the fjord and the mountains, and everything is beautiful, and I just found myself not feeling good because there's different, not exactly problems, but maybe issues or questions running in the back of my mind that makes me want to be somewhere else than where I am today. Typical for everyone. We have these things, right? And I understood that this thought or these thoughts were running on autopilot in the back of my mind all of the time, so I wasn't really feeling good. I wasn't really enjoying it the way I should. I was feeling stressed or anxious or just unsatisfied. And then I had to go do some work on the pathway because we have this very steep pathway made of gravel and stone to get to our cabin, which is up the mountains. And the rain had done severe damage to this pathway because most of it was ruined because of some clogged pipes that's supposed to lead the water away. Anyway, I had to work for a couple of hours fixing that. And as I sat there, it just dawned on me after like 15 minutes, wow, I have been listening to my thoughts now for 15 minutes without kind of engaging with them or questioning them, just listening to them, observing them. And they are really negative. No wonder I feel this way. And I was constantly thinking about the issue that I want to resolve. Because I do understand that my mind thinks it has to think about it constantly until it finds a solution. That's a logical thing for my mind to believe, because that's what I'm used to doing most of my life. But now I do see that that is not the best way to find a solution for anything when feeling bad. So I just decided, what if I try to just stay in the moment, do whatever I'm doing here, like digging, cleaning, putting stone back where it's supposed to be, just listening to the birds, the nature, the wind, taking in the fresh air, feeling my body doing this physical work, and just not think about anything. What happens then? And so I did, and I felt so much better. And it was raining after a while. I was very tired physically because it's hard work, but I still felt so much better than what I did before I started that experiment or that moments of presence or whatever we want to call it. I felt so much better. And the weird thing is that I got a bit surprised, but I shouldn't be because I know this. I know that whenever I stop thinking about things that make me feel bad, I feel better. That's logical. So why can't we seem to get that into our minds? If we think about something that doesn't feel good, we need to stop thinking about it. And the best thing is, when we stop thinking about it, we feel better, and then one of two things can happen. Number one, we can find that the problem doesn't really seem like a problem at all after that, because when we feel better, we're not looking for problems. We are automatically looking for more stuff to feel good about, because that's the snowball effect of the mind. When you feel good, you want to continue to feel good because that's the easier way out for the mind, and it's also vice versa. When we feel bad, we look for things to feel bad about. It's just like the path of least resistance for our minds. So I know that, and I've known that for quite some time, but still it amazes me how quick or easy it is to forget that. So it was just a very important reminder for me that I also want to share with you guys, because we all have this issue and we all need to be reminded from time to time that we cannot find a solution to a problem when we stay in the problem. So yeah, back to the two things that can happen. Number one, maybe it doesn't seem like that big of a problem when you start to feel better because you look at it from a different perspective. So maybe you just think to yourself, oh, this is not even a problem. Why do I worry about thinking about it? Maybe you realize you can't do something about it, or you realize there's only one thing to do about it. So what if I just do that thing instead of thinking about it all the time? Because that's not helping anyone, right? And then the other thing that can happen is that you suddenly find a solution when you're not thinking about it. It just pops into your head because you're feeling better. Or that you revisit the problem when feeling better and you find a solution because you look at it from a better feeling perspective. So we need to remember that we don't have to work with our problems or issues all of the time. What we need to do more of is to stop the negative thought spiraling when thinking about it and decide that, okay, if I need to think about this issue for some reason, then I will revisit it at a later time when I feel better than what I do now. Let's please remember that, because it has so much impact. And how many times during the day do we do that? Sorry, I'm a bit engaged, but how many times during a day do we think about things when they feel bad and we just keep thinking about it and we spiral until we feel really bad? Who is that helping? Certainly not us. Certainly not the ones around us. Certainly not our issue. So because our ego will most likely believe that it needs to revisit the problem at some point, and that's okay, but just tell yourself, I will come back to this issue when I feel better. So just find any sort of way to take your mind off the problem. Do something physical, go for a walk, listen to a song, watch TV, take a nap, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be productive. It just needs to stop the momentum of your negative thoughts. And then you will either find that it's not a problem anymore, or you will find a solution when revisiting it from a better feeling place. That's it. Thank you for listening.